To adopt any of these animals, please stop by SPCA LA's South Bay Pet Adoption Center right here in Hawthorne at 12910 Yukon Avenue. The center is open Wednesday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can also call the center ahead of time. That number is 310-676-1149. Our last story covers a topic that affects millions of Americans. Domestic violence is a topic that is often overlooked in many households, and addressing the problem is very difficult for some victims. HTTV reporter Sophia Pop has this special report and takes a look at the many factors involved.
It's a social problem that affects millions of homes across the globe.
You're just scared. You get into a panic, and you obviously don't want to see your mom hurt, and you love your dad at the same time.
And many find it hard to see light at the end of the tunnel.
Yo sufrí emocional.
I suffered emotional abuse,
Y es la que
and that's the one
duele más.
that hurts the most, because till this day I carry those wounds inside my soul.
Pero en el alma.
These are the voices of domestic violence. Statistics show that every 15 seconds an incident of domestic violence occurs in the United States, making it one of the most underreported crimes. Lieutenant Gary Tomatani showed us the recent numbers of incidents in Hawthorne.
2009 had 413 incidents of domestic violence, resulting in 136 arrests.
Tomatani says the Hawthorne Police Department is very proactive in handling all domestic violence cases.
We try to identify who our repeat offenders are based on prior incident reports taken, prior arrests that may have been made, and those are the people that we are going to prosecute more aggressively in an attempt to keep our victims and their family members safe.
During his extensive career in law enforcement, Tomatani has seen too many domestic violence cases resulting in deadly consequences.
Recently had an incident in Manhattan Beach where, a domestic violence, a murder-suicide. And it's one of those things, you're rolling the dice. If you choose to stay in an abusive relationship.
Amparo Arriaga describes her younger sister Paz as a ray of light, a carefree young woman when she arrived to the United States from Mexico at age 16. A few years later, she met a man named Carlos Romo. Within a few months of dating, the couple wed, and Paz was excited to begin a new life with the man who promised to love her. As years went by, Arriaga had a slight suspicion about the happiness in the couple's life.
Sometimes I would see her with puffy red eyes and crying, but she would not say anything. I would ask her if she was okay, and she would say that everything was fine.
The couple's two children, Jocelyn and Osvaldo, describe their family as different. They are speaking publicly about it for the first time.
You know how they always say, oh, daddy's little girl? I never had that with him. So, I really never looked up to him or, there was never a connection between us.
But he didn't really have time to, play with me or anything. He just had time for me to go work with him. Show me how life is hard.
While Paz and her children appear to be living a normal life in front of family members, Arriaga recalls one incident that troubled her mind for days.
As they were leaving, he pushed her into the truck and the children got scared. But we didn't know what happened afterwards.
The children still remember the constant arguing at their Hawthorne home, and during one occasion, Jocelyn was shocked by a comment made by Romo that ultimately led Paz to take action.
We were at my house, and I was watching television, and I guess he was drunk, and he came up to me and he told me he was going to kill her.
Paz relocated here to the city of Lenox to start her new life as a single parent after getting a divorce from her husband Carlos, but tensions started to rise after he started to stalk her day and night. And on one September morning in 2004, after dropping off her children to school and returning to this apartment, her worst nightmare came to reality. Armed with a chainsaw, Carlos Romo made his way inside Paz's apartment and viciously attacked her, dousing her body with gasoline and setting her on fire. Paz was transported to a local hospital in critical condition and succumbed to her injuries 2 weeks later.
She's always with me. I always carry her. There's never a day I don't think about her.
A tragedy of this magnitude completely destroys a family. It's very painful.
Romo was arrested at the scene and sentenced in October 2005 to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Crisis Hotline, can I help you?
1736 Family Crisis Center is a nonprofit organization that offers 4 shelters, free counseling, and legal services to abuse victims. Toby Quintiliani is the senior director at the center and describes the most common signs of domestic violence.
Anyone who's either jealous, excessively, overly dependent, or controlling in any kind of way is a giant red flag.
Quintiliani explains why it is so important to break the cycle of domestic violence.
We've had clients that have experienced abuse as love because that's how they've been raised. And if they look at that as the normal pattern between a man and a woman, then they end up looking for it without even realizing it in their lives.
This home is one of the shelters that houses up to 24 clients free of charge. Here they can stay for a designated amount of time and enjoy all of the comforts of a real home environment.
We will help them with food, we'll help them prepare meals, we'll help them with parenting classes, therapy.
Julie Johnson handles many of the calls that come into their 24-hour hotline, and on a daily basis she hears why victims find it hard to leave the situation.
A lot of women will say that they want to stay because they want their children to have a father. And they don't realize that being in a healthier environment, having a mom that is healthy and in a safe and supportive environment is a whole lot better for those children.
Father Perry Likert at St. Joseph's Catholic Church says, despite religious and cultural beliefs, a person's well-being should take precedence.
The vows are very specific in the church. It says both people, not just one, both says, I promise I will love you and honor you. And there's nothing honorable about beating your wife.
Women at this local support group have seen the light at the end of the tunnel. For 16 years, Martha Montes was a victim of domestic violence, and after years of counseling and support, she's now studying to become a counselor herself.
I want to help those parents and make them realize that the best future we can give our children is peace.
Montes says taking that first step wasn't easy, but once she did, she's now a different woman.
The most important thing is to realize that life is worth more than anything. There's nothing that can buy peace, love, and happiness.
While law enforcement and counseling centers offer help, women must first realize they need to take action before it's too late. Reporting for HCTV, I'm Sophia Pop.
If you're seeking help or know someone that may need help, here are a list of resources that aid victims of domestic abuse. Keep it right here on Channel 22 for these future city news stories. A nonprofit organization is partnering with local businesses to help men and women serving our country. And you'll learn ways to eat healthy with simple tips from nutrition expert Steve Baldwin. That does it for this edition of City News. Thanks for watching. If you have any story ideas, please call us at 310-349-1630. We'll leave you now with more footage of the AYSO soccer event. See you next time.